Past life connections. How they shape love and pain. Have you ever felt an instant connection with someone you just met, as if your souls had known each other for centuries? Or perhaps you've wondered why certain relationships in your life bring so much joy, while others cause deep pain and confusion. These experiences are not random accidents. They are threads of karma, woven across many lives, that now appear in your present journey to complete unfinished lessons and heal ancient wounds. Every smile, every tear, every embrace, and even every conflict carries echoes from the past. Sometimes you meet a person and feel as if you're continuing a story that began long ago. At other times, you face struggles in love, friendship, or family that seem too intense to be explained by current circumstances alone. It's as if there's an invisible script dictating the course of these encounters, a screenplay written by the actions and decisions of previous existences. The truth is that these are the subtle footprints of past actions, waiting to be balanced. Souls are drawn to each other again and again, not by chance, but by the magnet of unfinished lessons and unfulfilled promises. This magnetism transcends time and space, creating encounters that seem predestined. When you understand this, your vision of relationships changes completely, transforming from a victim's perspective to that of a conscious learner. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this relationship teaching me?" This small shift in perspective transforms pain into wisdom and confusion into clarity. The difficult person in your life may actually be a teacher sent to awaken the dormant compassion in your heart. The beloved soul who brings you joy may be returning to bless you for the kindness you once offered them in circumstances your conscious mind no longer remembers. Under this sacred light, every relationship becomes a temple of learning. Every connection is a mirror, reflecting not only who you are now, but also who you have been in previous lives and who you have the potential to become. When you see with the eyes of the soul, you realize that love, forgiveness, and understanding are the master keys to release the knots of karma and walk freely toward a more luminous and conscious destiny. The invisible fabric of karmic connections. Relationships, my dear seeker, are not simply formed in this brief span of years we call a lifetime. They are the continuation of a much older story, an epic narrative written through many births, multiple experiences, and countless soul encounters across the centuries. When two people meet in this life, whether as family, friends, lovers, or even as apparent rivals, it is rarely by cosmic accident. There exist invisible threads of karma, unseen but incredibly powerful, that bind them from the distant past. Every bond you experience has a divine purpose, a sacred reason for being. Some souls enter your life as pure blessing, returning the kindness you once offered them with an open heart and generous hands. Their presence feels gentle like a spring breeze, comforting like a familiar home, and uplifting like an answered prayer. Other souls arrive as if carrying an emotional debt, reminding you of unfinished conflicts that still seek resolution and healing. Such relationships may test your patience to limits you didn't know existed, stir your emotions like an ocean in storm, or even cause pain that penetrates to the deepest corners of your being. Yet in truth, both the sweet and the bitter are sacred, because both push you toward spiritual growth and the awakening of consciousness. Imagine karma as a cosmic book of epic proportions. Each life is a new chapter full of adventures and lessons, but the story continues without interruption through time. The people who enter your present life are characters from earlier chapters, reappearing now to play their roles once more in the divine theater of existence. Some come specifically to heal the wounds of the past with the balm of unconditional love. Others arrive to deepen the bonds of affection that already existed, and a few appear challenging you to rise in understanding and spiritual wisdom. When you begin to see relationships in this transcendent way, you no longer look at them with paralyzing fear or toxic resentment. Instead, you start to recognize the divine order that constantly works behind the scenes, orchestrating encounters that seem casual but are perfectly synchronized. Even the most difficult connection has deep meaning, and even the most fleeting encounter can be transformative for both souls involved. By honoring these invisible bonds of karma with reverence and gratitude, you enter into a deeper wisdom that transcends ordinary understanding. Life does not happen against you like a cruel enemy, but constantly flows for the greater good of your evolving soul, even when the process may be painful or incomprehensible from the limited perspective of the human ego. The signs of soul recognition. One of the most surprising and beautiful signs of past life karma is the sensation of instant familiarity that transcends all logic. Have you ever met someone for the first time and yet, within moments, felt as if you had known them forever? Their presence feels as natural as breathing. Their voice is soothing as a forgotten lullaby, and their company strangely comforting like returning home after a long journey. This is not mere coincidence nor a product of your imagination. It is the powerful magnet of karma in action, attracting souls across the seemingly impenetrable boundaries of time and space. When souls share profound experiences in previous lives, whether of passionate love, unbreakable friendship, or even intense conflict, a subtle but indelible impression is recorded in the eternal memory of the soul. Although the physical body changes from birth to birth like clothes that are discarded and renewed, these impressions remain as invisible but strong threads that connect across the ages. When these souls reunite in a new incarnation, the recognition is immediate and profound. Your heart whispers with certainty, "Ah, I know you," even if your rational mind cannot explain why this powerful sensation arises. This cosmic familiarity can appear in many mysterious and wonderful forms. Sometimes it manifests as a sensation of absolute trust, as if you could confide in that person without hesitation, and trusting them with the most intimate secrets of your heart without fear of judgment or betrayal. At other times, it may feel as if you had resumed a deep conversation that never really ended, continuing a soul dialogue that was interrupted by death or separation in another life. In some cases, it's even an inexplicable magnetic attraction or repulsion, an intense emotion that doesn't fit with the short time you've known each other in this present incarnation. These strong emotional reactions are echoes of past experiences that resurge from the depths of the subconscious. Understanding this divine magnet of familiarity helps us treat those extraordinary encounters with reverence and gratitude. Instead of dismissing them as unimportant coincidence, we begin to ask with humility, what is the sacred purpose of this connection? What divine lesson or celestial blessing is being continued here in the tapestry of my current life? By honoring these signs with respect and conscious attention, you gradually awaken to the profound truth that meaningful relationships are not built overnight like castles in the air. They are ancient soul journeys, spiritual odysseys that resume in the present with new opportunity for growth and healing. So when you feel that strange and beautiful sensation of recognition with someone, make a sacred pause and listen deeply with the ears of the heart. The universe itself may be reminding you of a much older and more significant bond than this present life, a connection that transcends the limitations of linear time and invites you to awaken to deeper dimensions of existence. Emotional intensity as a karmic indicator. There are relationships in life that feel unusually intense, far beyond what present circumstances can rationally explain. It may be a love so deep and encompassing that it seems larger than this physical world, transcending the ordinary limitations of human affection. Or perhaps a conflict so sharp and penetrating that it wounds your heart without clear and understandable reason, leaving you wondering why you experience so much pain over a seemingly minor situation. When emotions reach such extremes that defy logic, it is often a clear sign that past life karma is resurfacing from the depths of time like a powerful wave that has traveled through centuries. These extraordinary bonds carry an energy that cannot be measured by the present alone. They are fueled by the unfinished currents of actions, decisions, and experiences from yesterday that seek resolution and completion. Sometimes this karmic intensity appears as overwhelming affection that defies all explanation. You may feel drawn to someone with such devotion and magnetism that neither physical distance nor the passage of time can weaken the invisible bond that unites you. It's as if there were cables of light connecting your hearts across space and dimensions. It may be a soul mate with whom you shared a deep and transformative love in another life, who now returns to continue the sacred journey of mutual growth and spiritual evolution. At other times, the intensity may manifest as inexplicable hostility, constant irritation, or rivalry that seems to arise from nothing, like a volcano erupting without warning. These strong emotional reactions may confuse you, especially when the person in question has done nothing specifically harmful in this life. In truth, it is the continuation of an unresolved conflict or a deep emotional wound that your soul still seeks to balance and heal through understanding and forgiveness. Why does life create such intense relationships that can be both blessing and challenge? Because the soul, in its infinite wisdom, always seeks harmony and completeness. If love was left incomplete in a past life, it seeks fulfillment and full expression in this one. If pain was left unhealed or betrayal unforgiven, it seeks resolution and liberation through compassionate understanding. Through these intense relationships that can shake us to our foundations, life gives us the perfect stage to bring hidden energies to the surface and transform them with awakened consciousness. It's as if the universe were a cosmic theater director, creating the exact situations we need for our spiritual growth. When you encounter such emotional intensity that seems disproportionate, don't become upset or flee from the challenge. Instead, look deeper with the eyes of wisdom. Ask yourself honestly, what is this powerful bond teaching me about myself and my capacity to love? What aspect of my being is trying to resolve or heal through this intense connection? By responding with infinite patience, genuine compassion, and wisdom cultivated through experience, you allow the weight of intense karma to gradually lift like mist that dissipates with the first rays of the sun. Then, what once felt like a devastating emotional storm can transform into a great awakening of the heart that carries you to new dimensions of love and understanding. The hidden lessons in painful relationships. Not all karmic bonds arrive in your life wrapped in sweetness and comfort like beautifully decorated gifts. Some come covered in pain, deep sadness, or bitter disappointment that can make you question the goodness of the universe itself. These are often the most difficult relationships to navigate. Those where trust breaks like fragile crystal, where love is unrequited leaving the heart bleeding, or where misunderstanding seems endless like a labyrinth without exit. However, my dear seeker of truth, even these painful connections that can make you cry bitter tears are not cruel punishments sent by a malevolent fate. They are sacred lessons carefully disguised, strategically placed in your path by the infinite wisdom of the soul that knows exactly what you need to grow and evolve toward your highest potential. When a relationship brings pain that penetrates to the bone, it is natural and human to fall into the desperate question, why me? What have I done to deserve this suffering? Why must I suffer like this when others seem to live in peace? But if you look deeper with the eyes of spiritual understanding, you will see that such challenging relationships are sacred mirrors, reflecting with implacable precision the areas of your heart that still need healing, growth, and transformation. A person who betrays you deeply may be teaching you, unknowingly, the invaluable strength of detachment and emotional independence. Someone who constantly misunderstands you may be awakening in you the dormant virtues of infinite patience and genuine humility. Even a beloved soul who leaves you behind, causing the pain of abandonment, may be showing you the transformative power of inner independence and the capacity to find fulfillment within yourself. Always remember this fundamental truth. Emotional pain has a divine purpose in the grand scheme of soul evolution. The soul does not evolve solely through experiences of joy and pleasure, though these are also blessings. The deepest and most transformative growth often occurs through trials that seem to break us but actually strengthen us. Just as the goldsmith's fire purifies gold by eliminating all impurities, difficult and painful relationships gradually burn away selfishness, toxic pride, and destructive attachment, leaving behind a heart that shines with genuine compassion and wisdom earned through experience. For this sacred reason, the great spiritual masters of all traditions have always taught, do not curse those who hurt you with their words or actions. Instead, find the strength to bless them, because unknowingly and perhaps unintentionally, they are helping you grow, evolve, become a higher version of yourself. When you begin to see painful relationships as disguised teachers sent by divine providence, suffering gradually transforms into profound wisdom. Instead of clinging to bitterness that poisons your own heart, you learn to ask with genuine curiosity, what is this soul teaching me about hidden aspects of myself? What inner strength is it awakening in me? What divine qualities are being refined through this purifying fire? In this sacred way, Even life's sharpest thorns become stepping stones on the path to spiritual freedom, and you realize with wonder and gratitude that behind every pain hides the blessing of spiritual progress and the awakening of consciousness to higher dimensions of existence. Repetitive patterns and their deep meaning. Have you noticed with growing concern that the same type of emotional challenge returns again and again to your life, manifesting only in different forms and through different people, but maintaining its familiar and disconcerting essence? Perhaps you repeatedly encounter people who don't value your trust, trampling your open heart with cruel indifference. Or maybe you feel the stabbing pain of abandonment over and over, even from different souls who promised to stay forever but vanished like smoke at the first challenge. Sometimes, no matter how much you try to change external circumstances, rearranging your life like furniture in a room, the internal pattern remains unshakable, following you like a persistent shadow. It can be frustrating and disheartening to feel that you're trapped in an endless cycle, repeating the same painful lessons over and over without apparent progress. This is one of the clearest and most revealing signs that past life karma seeks urgent and definitive resolution. Karma, in its infinite wisdom, is like a patient but persistent spiritual teacher who does not allow you to advance to the next lesson until you have completely understood and integrated the present one into your deepest being. If you don't learn the virtue of genuine patience in one specific relationship, life, with its cosmic wisdom, will inevitably bring another situation to test and develop your patience again, perhaps with greater intensity. If you don't learn the sacred art of forgiveness in one particular connection, releasing resentments that consume your vital energy, another person will enter your life to give you exactly the same opportunity for growth, presented perhaps differently but with the same fundamental essence. These repeated patterns that may seem cruel or unfair are not punishments sent by a sadistic universe. They are divine invitations, sacred opportunities disguised as challenges. They are the gentle but insistent way in which the soul knocks on the door of your consciousness, asking you with infinite love to fully awaken and complete what was left unfinished in the tapestry of your spiritual evolution. When you notice the repetition of these patterns with growing clarity, make a sacred pause and reflect deeply. Instead of falling into frustration asking desperately, "Why does this keep happening to me?" begin to ask with genuine curiosity and openness of heart. What must I learn here that I have not yet completely integrated? What aspect of my being needs to mature and expand? In the magical moment when you embrace the lesson with full consciousness and genuine willingness to change, the pattern begins to dissolve naturally like salt in water. It's a gradual but inevitable process once real understanding penetrates the deepest layers of your being. For example, once you truly learn to forgive from the heart, not as a mental act but as a genuine transformation of your being, life no longer needs to send you painful betrayals to teach you forgiveness. The lesson has been learned, integrated, and lived. Once you learn your intrinsic self-worth and develop healthy self-esteem based on connection to your divine nature, the destructive cycle of rejection and abandonment will naturally disappear from your experience. So pay conscious and loving attention to these patterns in your relationships. Don't see them as meaningless coincidences or persistent bad luck. They are sacred signs placed by your own wise soul to guide you toward freedom and the realization of your highest potential. By consciously learning the hidden lesson in repetition, with patience toward yourself and firm determination, you definitively break the cycle of karma that kept you bound and enter a new radiant chapter of peace, accelerated growth, and more harmonious relationships that reflect your inner evolution. The transformative power of love and forgiveness. The greatest secret to dissolving the most complex and seemingly impossible karmic knots lies in the twin forces of unconditional love and genuine forgiveness. These are not abstract concepts or unattainable ideals, but practical and powerful tools that are available to anyone willing to cultivate them with dedication and constant practice. No matter how heavy the burden of the past you carry on your shoulders, how painful the wounds you guard in your heart, or how complicated the relational dynamics you face may seem, love has the alchemical power to absolutely transform any situation. And forgiveness possesses the liberating force to untie the strongest chains that keep you prisoner to resentment and pain from the past. When you cling to anger as if it were a treasure, to resentment that corrodes your inner peace, or to pain that defines your identity, you unconsciously keep alive and active the karmic chain that connects you to negative experiences. It's like feeding a fire with continuous fuel. As long as you keep adding emotional wood, the fire of suffering will continue burning, consuming your vital energy and your capacity to experience genuine joy. But when you consciously choose to forgive, not because the other person was right in their actions or because you approve of their behavior, but because your soul desperately longs to be free from the chains of the past that keep it bound, you untie that chain with your own hands and rise above the limitations that had kept you prisoner. Think of karma as a tremendously complex knot, tied tightly over many lives by intense emotional reactions, ego-based decisions, and destructive patterns repeated over and over again. Each time you react with bitterness, revenge, or resentment toward difficult situations, the knot tightens even more, becoming seemingly impossible to untie. But each time you consciously respond with genuine love, cultivated patience, or sincere compassion, the knot gradually loosens, creating space for healing and transformation. Finally, with an act of sincere forgiveness that arises from the purest depths of your being, the knot dissolves completely as if it had never existed, freeing you to experience relationships based on freedom instead of compulsive karma. It is crucial to understand that true forgiveness does not mean you should blindly continue with relationships that are genuinely harmful to your well-being, or that you should accept cruel, abusive, or destructive behaviors as if they were normal or acceptable. Wise forgiveness includes healthy boundaries and conscious self-determination. What authentic forgiveness means is that you release the toxic poison of resentment from your own heart, so that it no longer controls your emotional state, your decisions, or your capacity to experience peace and happiness. You free yourself, not the other person, from the prison of the past. Love is the divine solvent that can transform any situation, no matter how hopeless it may seem from the limited perspective of the human ego. When you genuinely bless those who have hurt you, sending them thoughts of peace and well-being instead of curses, you miraculously transform accumulated pain into profound wisdom and expanded compassion. When you express sincere gratitude toward those who have elevated and supported you on your path, you strengthen the natural flow of harmony and abundance in your life, creating a virtuous circle of blessings that multiply. In this sacred way, you free not only yourself from the chains of negative karma, but also the soul that is bound to you by past impressions, creating mutual freedom and the possibility of a higher connection based on love instead of compulsive karma. What greater gift can exist than that of freeing each other from the limitations of the past and walking together toward a more luminous future? As the great Master Paramahansa Yogananda constantly reminded us with infinite love, love is the divine light that dissolves all illusory walls between souls, revealing the fundamental unity that has always existed beyond the appearances of separation. By consciously practicing forgiveness as spiritual discipline and nurturing love as the most sacred garden of your heart, you no longer remain prisoner to yesterday with all its wounds and limitations. Instead, you walk toward tomorrow with hands open in gesture of generosity, a liberated heart that beats with universal compassion, and a clear mind that sees the infinite possibilities that open when karma transforms into dharma, when destiny becomes conscious freedom. This is the true victory over karma, not cowardly escaping from relationships avoiding growth, but consciously transforming them into sacred steps toward divine freedom and the realization of the highest potential of the human soul. Final reflection: the path to spiritual freedom. My dear soul in search of truth, as we reach the end of this deep reflection on the mysteries of karmic connections, let us remember together that no relationship in our existence is without divine purpose or sacred meaning. Every person we meet on the path of life, whether they bring radiant joy, transformative challenge, or even deep sadness, is part of a cosmic plan perfectly designed to help our soul grow, expand, and fulfill its maximum potential. When we look at relationships only with the limited eyes of the physical body or the analytical mind, we tend to see only problems to solve, conflicts to avoid, or attachments to maintain. But when we learn to look with the expanded eyes of the soul, with vision that transcends superficial appearances, we begin to see sacred lessons waiting to be learned, healing opportunities that present themselves as disguised gifts, and luminous paths toward spiritual liberation that open through each meaningful encounter. The people who love you deeply and support you unconditionally are not simply casual companions of this temporal existence, but precious souls who perhaps walked beside you in past lives, sharing adventures, learnings, and mutual growth. They have returned now to your life as living blessings to support you, bless you, and remind you of the beauty of love that transcends time and death. On the other hand, those who test your patience to limits you didn't know you had, who challenge your most ingrained beliefs, or who cause you emotional pain, are not enemies sent to destroy you. They are spiritual teachers disguised in human garments, offering you the purifying fire that polishes your spirit like a diamond in formation, eliminating the impurities of ego and revealing the divine brilliance that has always resided within you. And even those who move away from you, creating the painful experience of separation and loss, have not really gone in the deepest sense, because every soul remains eternally connected in the great fabric of divine love that unites all existence. Their physical departures are often opportunities to develop spiritual independence and discover the inexhaustible source of love that exists within your own heart. The greatest gift you can offer yourself on this sacred journey of life is the development of awakened consciousness. Don't flee cowardly from relationships when they become challenging, nor cling blindly to them when they have become toxic or have fulfilled their purpose. Instead, meet them with equanimity, with an attitude of constant learning, and with gratitude for the growth opportunities they present. Constantly ask life with sincere humility, what is this specific bond teaching me about myself and my capacity to love? How is this particular connection helping me evolve toward a higher version of my being? What divine qualities are being developed through this experience? In this conscious and deliberate way, every relationship, no matter how brief its duration or how difficult its nature may seem, becomes a sacred step on your stairway to spiritual freedom, a valuable chapter in the book of your evolution that brings you ever closer to the realization of your true divine nature. The daily practice of relational consciousness. To truly integrate this wisdom about karmic connections into your daily life, it is essential to develop a conscious practice of observation and reflection. Each morning, before the world fully awakens, dedicate some sacred moments to contemplate the relationships that form part of your current experience. Ask yourself honestly, what patterns am I repeating? Where is my soul guiding me through these connections? This morning introspection will allow you to approach the day with greater clarity and purpose, seeing each interpersonal encounter as an opportunity for growth, rather than a casual event without meaning. During the day, when you find yourself in challenging relational situations, remember to make a conscious pause before reacting automatically. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, how can I respond from my highest self? What is this situation trying to teach me about love, patience, or forgiveness? This practice of conscious pause can transform even the most intense conflicts into opportunities for healing and mutual understanding. It is in these moments of tension when we most need to remember that we are interacting not only with human personalities, but with souls in the process of evolution, just like us. In the evenings, before surrendering to restorative rest, conduct a loving review of the day. Reflect on the encounters you had, the emotions that arose, and the lessons that presented themselves. Give thanks for both pleasant and challenging experiences, recognizing that both contribute to your spiritual growth in unique and invaluable ways. The different types of karmic souls. In the great theater of existence, the souls we encounter can be classified into several types according to their purpose in our evolutionary journey. Understanding these categories helps us navigate relationships with greater wisdom and acceptance. Healing souls are those who arrive in your life as balm for ancient wounds. Their presence is naturally calming, and their love seems capable of healing pain you didn't even know you carried. These souls have come specifically to offer you the medicine of love you need to heal traumas from past lives. Their gift is the restoration of your faith in the fundamental goodness of existence. Master souls frequently appear disguised as difficult people or challenging situations. Their purpose is not to hurt you, though sometimes their teaching may be painful. These souls act as implacable mirrors, reflecting aspects of yourself that need to be recognized, accepted, and transformed. They are the most valuable teachers in the school of life, though their methods may seem severe. Companion souls are those with whom you share a long and generally harmonious history. They may appear as close family members, soul friends, or partners with whom you feel natural and deep compatibility. With these souls, the journey is one of mutual growth and continuous support, a beautiful dance of giving and receiving that has been perfected over multiple incarnations. Catalytic souls enter your life for specific periods to create necessary changes. Their function is to destabilize stagnant patterns and push you toward new directions of growth. Although their presence may be intense and their departure painful, their purpose is to activate transformations that would not have occurred otherwise. Balancing souls arrive when a karmic debt needs to be settled. These relationships may feel obligatory or forced, but they serve the sacred purpose of creating balance in the great book of cosmic accounts. Once balance is restored through love, understanding, or mutual service, these souls may naturally move away or transform the relationship into something freer and more spontaneous. The transformation of suffering into wisdom. One of the most profound aspects of karmic work is the spiritual alchemy that transforms suffering into wisdom. This transformation does not occur automatically with the passage of time. It requires conscious and voluntary participation in the healing process. When you face relational pain, the first natural impulse is to resist it, deny it, or blame others for your suffering. However, ancient wisdom teaches us that rejected suffering multiplies, while suffering embraced with consciousness transforms into deep understanding. The key lies in developing what mystics call the heart that can hold it all, an expanded capacity to experience both joy and pain without being destroyed by either. This expanded heart does not harden before suffering nor desperately attach to happiness. Instead, it remains open, flexible, and capable of extracting the nutritive essence from each experience. When a relationship causes you pain, instead of asking yourself, "Why is this happening to me?" the transformative question is, how can this pain become compassion for others who suffer in similar ways? This reorientation changes your identity from victim to healer, from someone who simply receives wounds to someone who can use those wounds as a source of wisdom to help others. The sacred art of loving detachment. One of the most difficult but necessary lessons in working with karmic relationships is the development of loving detachment. This concept is often misunderstood as cold indifference or emotional abandonment, but in reality it is quite the opposite. Loving detachment is the capacity to love fully without clinging to specific outcomes, to give your heart completely without demanding anything in return, to remain emotionally connected while keeping your spiritual freedom intact. This balanced state allows relationships to flow naturally through their different phases without destructive resistance. When people need to move away for their own growth, loving detachment allows you to bless their departure without bitterness. When others need to come closer for mutual healing, the same detachment allows you to receive them without expectations that limit the experience. Practicing loving detachment does not mean loving less intensely. It means loving more wisely. It is recognizing that each soul has its own path toward realization, and that your role is to support that journey without trying to control or direct it according to your personal preferences. Generational healing through karmic work. Frequently, the karmic patterns we experience in our current relationships have roots that extend not only to our individual past lives, but also to family lineages and generational wounds that have been transmitted from ancestor to descendant like an invisible but powerful inheritance. When you consciously work with your karmic relationships, you are not only healing yourself, but you are also interrupting destructive patterns that may have affected generations of your family. It's like cutting the roots of a toxic weed that has been growing in the family garden for decades or even centuries. For example, if in your family lineage there exists a pattern of women feeling betrayed by men, or of men struggling with emotional expression, your conscious work to heal these dynamics in your own relationships can liberate not only your future, but also send waves of healing backward in time, liberating your ancestors and forward, protecting future generations. This perspective adds sacred weight and expanded purpose to your relational work. You are not simply resolving your own personal problems. You are participating in the collective healing of humanity, one conscious relationship at a time. Final invitation, bringing this wisdom to the heart. Now, dear fellow traveler on this path of awakening, I invite you with all my heart to take this sacred wisdom beyond intellectual understanding toward lived experience. Reflect deeply on your own existence with compassionate honesty and genuine curiosity. What relationship in your current life do you feel most clearly is karmic, charged with important lessons your soul needs to learn? What specific connection has taught you the most valuable lessons about love, forgiveness, patience, or understanding? What repetitive pattern in your relationships is asking for your conscious attention and loving transformation? Take the sacred time you deserve to contemplate these deep questions, not only with your analytical mind, but with the integrated wisdom of your heart. Allow the answers to emerge naturally from the depths of your being, without forcing conclusions or premature judgments. If you feel inspired to share your reflections and discoveries, whether with loved ones, in spiritual communities, or even in digital spaces of conscious growth, consider doing so. Your honest words about your own journey may be exactly the inspiration another seeker needs to take the next step on their own path of relational healing. And if you simply wish to send a vibration of gratitude to the universe for the teachings received through all your relationships, both sweet and challenging, you can do so with the sacred words Jai Guru Dev, which means victory to the Divine Master that manifests through every experience of life. Before we part in this particular conversation, I also invite you to reflect on what other aspects of the spiritual journey interest you in exploring more deeply. Is there any topic related to soul growth, heart healing, or consciousness awakening that you would like to delve into in future explorations? Your genuine curiosity and thirst for growth are the beacons that can guide service toward an ever deeper understanding of the sacred mysteries of existence. Closing words, the blessing of the conscious path. Always remember, as a truth engraved in the stars, that unconditional love, generous forgiveness, and awakened consciousness are the master keys that liberate the soul from all its karmic knots, without exception. These are not abstract ideals reserved for saints and mystics, but practical tools available to any sincere heart willing to cultivate them with dedication and patience. Walk through life carrying this sacred truth like a torch in your heart, and observe how life itself gradually becomes your wisest teacher and most loving guide. Every encounter will transform into an opportunity for growth, every challenge into an invitation to awakening, and every relationship into a sacred mirror that reflects your most luminous potential. May you find in every soul that crosses your path an aspect of the divine waiting to be recognized and honored. May you see in every relational experience, whether of ecstasy or trial, an opportunity perfectly designed for your spiritual evolution. And may you always hold in your heart the understanding that you are not walking this path alone, but accompanied by the infinite love that connects all souls in one great cosmic family. Until our paths cross again in the infinite fabric of existence, remain blessed by the grace that flows through every moment. Remain conscious of the sacred lessons that constantly present themselves, and remain eternally rooted in the love that is your truest nature and your highest destiny. Jai Guru Dev. May the light of awakening illuminate your path, and that of all beings on their journey toward divine freedom. If this message touched your heart and helped you better understand the journey, remembering that it is part of your karma and spiritual growth, support our work with a super thanks so we can continue creating transformative content with themes that inspire, help people, and bring more light to each life. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if it resonates with you, and share it with your friends so our message reaches where it's needed.